Shroom, 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 shroom. This is the weirdest intro I've ever done. But anyway, hey guys, welcome back. My name is Limbrin, and this is episode 12 of Parrotcraft. Today, we're starting by collecting shrooms. Because I want to build a Hoglin farm, and I need warped shrooms for that, and I don't have any. So, yeah, now I have quite a few. I also did some more collecting off camera. But, yeah, we're doing that today because I need food. I have 2 steak, and that is actually it. I'm almost out of steak, and my cows aren't really bred up to the point that I can harvest more steak from them. That sounds weird. So yeah, I'm building a Hoglin farm because that will be an infinite source of mutton, not mutton. Pork chops, yeah. It's an infinite source of cooked pork chops, so it's just a very useful farm. Pretty small one though, so let's just start this episode by hopping right into a quick little time lapse, build that farm. I think in terms of time invested to like actual output of the farm, this thing has to be number one. It took me like 10 minutes to build, and I already have what, like more than 2 stacks of cooked pork chops, I would guess. Okay, like a stack and a half, but still, I think this thing is absolutely the best. And that was literally that amount of pork chop was the amount generated from me building up to and placing this AFK platform. Look at this thing. It's insane. I actually can't think of anything else. So if you can think of a farm that is like has a better time invested to output ratio than this, leave it down in the comments because I think this thing is number one. So I'm just AFKing here for a second because I want to get at least a little bit, because like I said, this thing is absolutely insanely efficient and you can just kind of see it going. If we head back down, it should have gotten a decent bit of pork chop by now, at least by the time that all those guys die. That's loud, isn't it? Okay. Are we good? I think we're good. Nope. No, we're not good. There we go. That's all those hoglins dead, and we already have... Okay, it wasn't too much, but like, as I said, this farm is absolutely overpowered. I'm glad I have it done now because I really needed a better food source than cooked mutton, which I can now throw over here where I will never pick it up again, and I can eat pork chop for the rest of my days. Now that we're done with that little intro project, there's just one more thing I want to do before we get into the main meat of today's episode, which is these cows. This was my previous food source, and it got a little out of hand, I'd say, so I'm gonna get rid of these guys real quick. Ah, that's much better. I can finally have some peace and quiet in my base. I've left 2 of them because I've decided I might actually want to have some aesthetic cows over near the sheep, like just put a couple in a pen somewhere, just because that would make sense, you know, have some cows pasturing somewhere. So I've left those guys for now. I'll probably do that with them later. But now that I'm done with that, I can actually get on to the main theme of this episode, which I have no idea what it is. I made this list in my indecision, and it's kind of just like all the things that I think I might want to build in Parrot Keep. And this is like actual buildings, and this one's like farms. I'm not doing a farm. I am burnt out from that shulker farm. I just really needed a better food source, so I decided to do that one real quick. But I have quite a few options here. Now, some of them I don't want to do till 1.19 because I really want mud bricks. I think will fit Parrot Keep really well. But a lot of these I could do like right now. The only issue is I don't really know where I want to build like any of them. Parakeep is a big place, and I haven't really planned out any of it super well, so I kind of have to start by figuring that out. Luckily, I already have a little bit of an idea, if I can just get a good angle on it. There we go. There's this little, like, cliff thingy up here with some more greenery, right, and then there's this lower area. I think this cliff area is going to be where all the, like, government buildings and, like, the big fancy church is going to be, because this is the capital of a supposed theocracy, so they would probably have something like that near their government buildings. And then down here will be, like, the more mid-class people, the artisans and stuff like that. So I think I'm actually going to do the Grand Market today, or at least like plan out some street stuff for that in this area because it's kind of close to the harbor, right? Which I think is probably good. This shorefront stuff is going to be warehouses and stuff, more like directly related to the importing of goods. But this little bamboo forest area I think would serve really well for like a market where a bunch of artisans are selling their goods and stuff and trade goods are coming in being sold here. So I'm going to try and plan out a little bit of like a roadmap for this whole area, and it's a kind of big area. I don't know how large I want. That's F2. That's why it's not working. I don't know how large I want the actual market to be, but there's going to be a main boulevard kind of going, probably starting about here and going that way. And the reason I want to start it here is because right there is the entrance to the underground tunnel that is currently the only way up and down these cliffs. So yeah, I'm going to do some planning and I'll be right back. So I've been doing a little bit of planning and I have a couple ideas down. Mostly I've just kind of planned out Main Street. So I've made this little thing. It comes out of the cave tunnel and just goes over here, it slips down, and then there's going to be like a bridge type thing right here with a river going through, which is what this blue thing is, and that's going to lead to a waterfall over here just because I think that'd be pretty cool. And then it essentially just turns here and it's going to go that way pretty much until it hits the upper plateau area over here, which is where I'm going to put like the main government building or something. Then that will be like the end of the road. I'm kind of going for almost like a Diagon Alley type thing where it's just like a really long thing with a bunch of shops and stuff on either side that leads up to a big building that will be right in here, and that little red stuff is the end of it. But doing that has made me realize something. First of all, that I really want to use mud bricks for that, so I'm not going to do it right now because mud bricks aren't in the game yet. But also, if the cave tunnel immediately just like dumps out into the big shopping area in Main Street, or whatever, I don't think I actually want to call it Main Street, but if it just dumps out into that area, that's not really the place that I want the cargo that's being brought up from like ships and stuff to go. That I want to go to a warehouse district that's going to be in like this area-ish. And while they are like not very far apart, I'd like them to feel more separated than they actually are, from like the nice shops part of town to the kind of grungy warehouses and stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the cave tunnel actually split, and luckily there's this little cave right here. If we follow down just a little bit, we get to this little spot, and this is the cave tunnel. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a fork in the tunnel here, and it's going to go into this cave and up and out into the warehouse district so that the actual cargo being brought in from ships can go to the correct place and not just to the main shopping area that's going to be down the center of the town. So yeah, that's what we're going to work on today, and I'm going to go ahead and do some terraforming because currently it's not actually a very serviceable tunnel for a pathway, so let's fix that. Never mind, 1.19 just dropped, so we're playing with mud, because I mean, like, I have made a lot of progress, but if I'm given the choice between building an extension to a cave tunnel I already built and playing with mud, I am for sure playing with mud, but honestly, it does look pretty good. I'll finish that later. But mud. Now, the only thing with mud is it's kind of annoying to get. You see, either it naturally generates in a mangrove swamp, which would probably be several thousand blocks away, and I'm not up for doing that right now, or you take some dirt, you take some water, you combine them, and you get mud. I keep trying to press R, and it doesn't zoom in because I don't have Optifine. Anyway, mud. This is how you get mud. It's very tedious, and I don't want to do this for hours on end, so I'm going to make a machine real quick that will do this for me. There we go. We got a mud machine. I gotta say, this thing is so compact. It was designed by El Mango, because of course it was. That guy's a genius. If you want to build it yourself, his video will be linked in the description. But this should be all ready to go. We got a bunch of glass bottles in there. We got some water bottles in here. All I have to do is sit here and hold both mouse buttons down, and it is making mud. So now I'm going to sit here for like, I don't know, an hour or so, and let's get some mud. Or like 9 minutes, because that's how long it took me to convert the 9 stacks of dirt I had into mud, because, like I said earlier, this thing is really quite efficient. That shouldn't be there. That's not. No, stop it. Why is this? Okay, it's breaking a little, but it's mostly fine. Anyway, I don't really need more mud right now, so I'm going to ignore that for just a little bit longer, but it did get me 9 stacks of mud before it started to break, so I'm fine with that. The thing is, mud, it's not a very pretty block now, is it? At least not for the vibe I'm going for in Parrot Keep. So I gotta do a little bit of modification to it before it's actually ready to be used. And that modification involves wheat, because mud can be turned into mud bricks, or packed mud, by the process of combining it with wheat. Also, if my base looks really bright, it's a texture pack, it's not on fire or something. And in theory, I have quite a bit of wheat because I was farming earlier in hopes of 1.19 coming out. So I have a lot of wheat, and if we combine that wheat with the mud, we can make packed mud. And I have 9 stacks of mud and 9 stacks of wheat, and therefore I have 9 stacks of mud. And packed mud is the block that we're kind of after, because 4 packed mud equals 4 mud bricks, and this thing is beautiful. I mean, look at it. It's amazing, and it fits Parrot Keep so perfectly. So I'm going to make at least a decent bit of this. Oh, you can't use the stone cutter. That's a shame. Anyway, I'm going to make a decent bit of mud bricks. And where's the 6? There's the 60. Good, good. Okay, because now I have all the mud bricks I can need to build my little paths over here. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I have to work out the design a little bit more, because what I've come up with so far, it has a good shape, but like it could use some work in terms of the texturing. So I'm going to go work on that, but then I can actually get building on some of these roads. Oh, it looks so good. I absolutely love this. My god, the mud bricks are perfect, and the texturing that I did was actually this brick stuff. My previous design was using stone, which just the colors don't really go together very much. I decided to switch to brick and like granite texturing stuff. It looks so good. I love this thing. It's so cool. Okay, I'm just really excited about this road. I also made this little bridge thingy, which is where the like water from the river is gonna go under. So that should be pretty cool, because I want to have the river be a pretty prominent feature. I'm thinking like almost Venice type thing, with like buildings right on the edge of the river, which I just kind of like that aesthetic. I might not go as much Venice as Venice is, but I think Venice is a pretty cool place, so I might copy it a little bit. But I have a lot more road to build, because I've built this little section, which took me quite a bit because I had to actually come up with what texturing I want to do. But this road has a lot more to go. It has to go all the way to this little bit of red wool that's right there. There's only one problem with that, which is that little bit of red wool is 23 blocks higher than this little bit of road. And the issue with that is I don't want this road to be steep. It's currently has like a super like flat slope, like it's steep. What is it? It's steep and shallow? No, I don't know. Anyway, it goes down pretty slowly, so I want to kind of continue that, but with a 23 block change, it would take me roughly 23 times 10, which is 230 blocks, to get up to that level with this slope. So I can't really use that slope unless I do like a big windy thing like that, but I don't really want to do that either, because I'd like to be able to see the end of this street, like whatever building I decide to put there, from right here. So I don't really know what I'm going to do, but I'm just going to kind of start working on it and see what happens. I've built something that I think works pretty well. It's nowhere near as unslopey as this part over here, but I think it does the job. It's a lot steeper, but it's kind of like curvy. It follows the contours of the land, and it looks like it's just going up and down, and like, it looks more natural, I think, and I really like how it turned out. But the only part that's a little iffy is that's a creeper. Is right in this part where it kind of is the same slope for a while, just because it starts to look a little like boring and monotonous, I guess, but mostly I think it turned out super great, and it didn't even take me that long to build this thing. I mean, I am kind of following a template pretty exactly, because it is very straight and very similar, but overall I think it turned out absolutely amazing. Now, this road isn't quite finished yet, because It is like really straight right now, and originally I was going to kind of add tiny little like bends in it so you could still see down it, but it didn't look so just like completely uniform. But honestly, I think it actually looks quite good completely uniform because it's a very organized, well maintained road because it's in a big city. Like I said, it's the capital. And also, I think once I actually start adding buildings and side streets and stuff, it will start to make it look a little bit more natural because the different buildings will be at different distances back from the road. So if we have one building like right up against it, and then right next to it we have another building that's kind of a little bit farther back. Of course, there's bamboo here, and you have a building like, I don't know, here. That already makes it look like the road curves like just a little bit just because of the faces of the building. So I think once we get all the stuff surrounding it in, it will start to look a little bit better because that's really my only issue with the road currently. But I don't really know what buildings I want to put here other than just like artisan houses, which is what I have currently on the list back at my base. And one of those is going to be a mud mason. And if you don't think a mud mason is a thing, then a stone mason is someone who works with stone. A potter is someone who works with clay or mud. Therefore, a potter is a mud mason, so I'm going to be calling it a mud mason because that sounds better. Um, but anyway, that's the only one I really like have in mind currently, but I'm not really sure where it's going to go. So for now, I'm just going to kind of add more roads to the network because there's a couple spaces that I would like to add them. Wherever there's these like flatter 3 bits, I want to add an offshoot road that goes along the kind of slightly flatter land that's next to most of these because it does flatten out with the land. So there'll be one there, there'll be one like up here somewhere, and down lower over here there's some more. So I'm going to plan out those roads more and maybe get started on some of them because there's kind of a lot of them. I think there's 4 flatter spots in total for the entirety of the road. And of course there'll also be some at the top, which I'm not going to do yet because I don't really know how I want to get up this tiny little lip. It is a pretty small lip, but it's the boundary between the like big market area and the kind of fancy governmental like religious stuff. So I'm not going to do that yet, but I'm going to go ahead and plan out the rest of the roads for that are going to branch off of Main Street and stuff. So yeah, let's do it. So I did do some planning, but I didn't as much plan as just like make roads. I haven't textured them yet because texturing takes a while compared to the actual of just like placing them, but I've kind of run into a problem, which is I've run out of mud. I did that one, which is kind of going to lead over and curve into the warehouse district, and I started working on this one, which is kind of head towards the iron farm area. And I ran out of mud. You notice it's kind of bordered by red planting blocks as opposed to mud bricks, which is what it's supposed to be bordered by, which means I need to get more mud. Luckily, I still have my mud machine, but the thing is, this is all of the dirt I have. There's some in here too. It's like 8 stacks-ish, and 8 stacks got me all of this worth of mud bricks, which is a decent amount. But I am going to have to actually like get more and do a dirt mining session at some point, which is a little bit of an issue. But we're going to push that issue to future me and just convert these 9 stacks and use them, and then I'll deal with that. Well, it turns out that actually won't be a problem because I have finished every single road that I want to do, and I still have plenty of mud to spare. But pretty much I have expanded it, so I put some roads just going around. Each of them has like kind of a purpose. This one's going to the warehouse district, which I may have mentioned in the last clip. Maybe not though. This one is going up to the iron farm because I feel like that needs to be connected somehow because it's kind of the big mine for the entire city. And then this one is heading over to the like sheep area where the parrot cages and stuff are. And it ends really abruptly like the rest of them, but I think I'm going to try and transition this one into kind of shoddier paths because once you actually get over to this area, everything is like dirt paths and stuff, so wouldn't really make sense for the nice like mud brick roads. And also, I noticed there's kind of like a wall of trees here that I want to probably put some parrot cages in them, maybe replace this oak tree with another big jungle tree just to increase that effect. I really like how it looks. And then the last path that is up here, maybe there's 2 more actually. Yeah, there's 2 more. This one kind of just heads over towards my starter base, although it's probably not going to actually lead to the starter base. It's going to lead to whatever I decide to put like here, which is probably going to be some fresh water source with the like lush cave and stuff, because I want to keep some of that at least, because I think lush caves look pretty cool. And then the last one finally heads over to nowhere really. It heads kind of towards this like cave thingy, which I will do something with at some point, but I don't really know. I just kind of felt like this path needed an area, or that area needed a path. And there's one spot that still is kind of devoid of roads, but I don't know. This bit is kind of really like there's a lot of elevation changes, so I couldn't really put a road in here super well anyway, so I don't really mind. And yeah, I think that's all the roads I'm going to do for now. I might do more later because I could see connecting like these two with a road or these two with a road or something like that. But for now, I'm going to leave it like that because I really want to get onto the Warden, but I'm not doing that until next episode. So I think I still have to finish this, but I think I'll probably just like do that in between episodes. It's only a little bit more work, and it's really boring. I have to put in some braces in that area and actually texture this to not just be oak planks. But yeah, other than that, I think I'm good to end this episode here. Although, of course, we've made some pretty visual progress, so I gotta update the map, which is still just my favorite part. It should mostly just be this one, I think, although there might be some in that one as well. We'll see. Okay, oh, it looks so weird. Oh my god. I guess the color of brick is a little bit different on a map than it is in real life, but yeah, that looks pretty good, I'd say. I have to place it down, of course, but let's see. Oh, look at it. It's starting to actually have like, though they look like oh, it looks so, the red looks so weird. Anyway, they look like veins, which I guess is kind of what roads are for a city, so I don't mind it that much. And yeah, that looks really good. So I guess, yeah, I'm ending this one here. Like if you liked, subscribe if you like it. Have a great day. As always, bye-bye. I can't zoom in. That really bothers me.